Welcome to Gulfstream Park. It is February 22nd, 2015. Christina Bosnakis, accompanied as always by Ron Nicoletti. We've got a lovely day here, weather-wise. Great day, great weekend, so much action. Ron, before we get into today's 12 race card, what fun we had yesterday.
It was fantastic. We had, the Fountain of Youth, a little controversy in the Fountain of Youth always sparks up the day. It was a great race, and this place was absolutely jammed. You could not move, and they bet a lot of money, which is a good thing, and it was a lot of fun, and I hope you had a lot of winners yesterday. But just before that, they did not hit the Rainbow Six. That's what I wanted to tell you about. And we start in race number 7 today with a 12-race card, and the reason I'm so excited, a $300,000 guarantee jackpot pool today, so $300,000. We also got guarantees in the pick 5 of $50,000 today. In our late pick 4, $100,000, and that's every Saturday and Sunday. On the big day yesterday, we had a $300,000 guarantee in the Rainbow Six. It was just a fun, fantastic day. We had a ball here, and we were just talking before we went on the air. The day just flew by.
Yeah, it did, because there were so many. We had 8 stakes. 7, I believe, graded, and just a lot of action. And speaking of that action, let's take a quick look back at some of yesterday's action. Of course, we're going to start with the marquee event for 3-year-olds in southern Florida, looking down the road to the Spring Classics, and that was the Bessalou Stables Fountain of Youth. And Ron, let's have a look at yesterday's stretch run. As you said, very exciting race, and there was some drama. There was a little bit of drama in there too. Upstart, who's going to get to the lead right in between horses there, is going to come out. It shows a little bit more when you watch on the head-on. Right. Comes out a little bit in front of It's a Knockout, who ended up crossing the wire second, and Upstart was taken. He was put behind him.
Yeah, he was put second in there. Both horses ran very well. The people I've talked to throughout the plant and around, since yesterday, it was a 50-50 call. Some people thought it should go down. Some people thought it should stay up. But both horses will live to race again, and it'll be a lot of fun. Maybe they'll get together in the Florida Derby, the Grade 1 Florida Derby right here, or, see them down, if not then in the, Kentucky Derby. I'm hoping there's a rematch in the Florida Derby again for these 2 horses, and you prove who's better.
You make a very good point. Both of those horses were outstanding. They both ran big races, and Jack Wolf, the managing partner of Starlight, after the race, very humble with his victory, and he pointed out, and when you own racehorses, they've been on both sides of that. Sometimes you'll be on the winning side of the straw, and sometimes it'll be taken away from you. So I think in the end it all balances out. But just a great connections, great horses, and so much fun to look forward to. Both of those, It's a Knockout and Upstart from the Rick Violet barn, Rick's done a really good job with that horse too, down the road. But there was a return of a champion. We've been touting it all week, and that was in the McDermott. We will take a look at yesterday's McDermott. The winner, Main Sequence, winner of the Breeders' Cup Turf. He was Turf champion in 2014. Ron, what did you think?
Well, here it is, and we're going, oh no, he's going to get beat. He's finally going to get beat, and Twilight's going to win it. Twilight, and here comes Main Sequence. It just explodes to victory and runs right by, and just a really nice performance in there, and comes back a champion. I believe that might have been his best race so far.
You make a really good point. Another good point, because I've had the chance to see him when he was at Monmouth over the summer, his first American start, and then in Saratoga, at the Breeders' Cup in the fall, and then again, he's really blossoming, and he's not the type of horse that's going to be this big, flashy, head-bowed kind of horse, but he's really coming into his own. I think he looks better than he did, if that's possible, in 2014. Twilight Eclipse, who finished second.
Poor Tom Alvatroni. I thought he had won this time.
And Tom, after the race, he pointed out that we tried to get the jump on him. We had the jump on him. We thought if we were going to win, that's how we were going to win. And you know what? It didn't work out. Yeah. But again, he's a really nice horse. Now, Main Sequence, it looks like he's going to be going to Dubai to run Dubai World Cup Day in the Shima. So maybe that's going to open it up for Twilight Eclipse to get things rolling.
Well, I spoke to Javier right after the race, and he said the same thing. They had a target to run at, and that was the the plan. They had somebody up there setting the pace. They wanted to get the jump first, which they did. They just didn't. He said, we were second best today. We got beat by a good horse. So another great performance by Main Sequence.
And one of the races that was pretty fun here also with the Devona Dale, and that's for 3-year-old fillies, Ekadi's Phaeton. What can we say about her? She's a house horse. She always runs her race. She got no respect on the board. We'll take a look at her victory yesterday. Really hard fought, Ronnie. Look at this. And she's got a couple of really nice burn on the wire on the extreme outside. Eskin for money from the Todd Pletcher barn in between. Could have been a big day, really big day for the Starlight partners, but it was the really tough and gritty Ekadi's Phaeton.
She just hold on, and you're right, all the way through the stretch, you're thinking these two horses are going to go by, and just held on of everything, and a great connections, and it's just a lot of fun, that horse holding on. Heard the whole place cheering, because you just thought the other two horses were going to go by, and then congratulations to the connections and trainer Bill Kaplan, as you said, house horse.
Bill Kaplan does a great job, and he's got a really nice filly on his hands. Ron, let's get into today's races. We do have a 12 on tap. We'll kick off with the first, which is a 35,000 maiden claiming event, mile and a 16th on the turf course. We do have a scratch of the also eligible number 11, Chili Bay. My top selection, I went with number 6, and that's Run Seiichi Luis Saez. Luis Saez, actually, we can't even say he's been on fire recently, because he's just been continuing on that upward trend. And this Gelding's best numbers, he's run his best numbers, his best races on the turf, and I really think he's going to be the one to beat here.
Yeah, and he looks like one of the controlling speeds in there, and as we joke around all the time, he looks like he could be the speed of the speed in there. I did go with the number 2, Laurentino, dropping into a winning spot, I believe, after returning from the layoff with Lasix added, failing to produce a rally, but that was against $75,000 maidens going 7.5 furlongs. The trainer, Ramon Morales, he's 33% with the second start. After this type of layoff, I'm expecting good things. Edgar Prado in the saddle, and if you saw just before we came on the air, the jockeys will be here till 12 noon, all his Hall of Fame jockeys and future Hall of Fame jockeys signing posters right here in the walking ring. So this horse on top of my ticket, we both got the 10, who's on the board right now is the 4-5 favorite, and that's let's wrap it up.
And we move on to the second race on the card. It is a 25,000 maiden claiming event. It is a mile on the main track, and it kicks off the early pick 4 on the day. Number 8 is my top selection, Ron, as yours as well, and that's Legratz from the David Fox barn. And you're looking at him, he's run his most recent race, or has run her most recent races on the turf, but the pedigree actually reads very dirt-oriented, and she did kick off her career on the dirt. However, I think that this is a good fit. Yeah,
and David Fox, he's about 20% with the turf to dirt move, and Paco Lopez, talking about riders that have been riding great all meeting. Paco Lopez, certainly one of those. We both have the number 3 horse on, we both have the number 5 horse on the ticket, Nocturnal Q. The other horse I threw in was McLovin. And I also threw in number 3 and Not Ladylike, dropping for trainer Phil Gleaves. On to the third race on the card, and we do have a 62.50 claiming event. It is a mile on the main track. My top pick, Ron, looks like we're in agreement again. Number 4, we went with David Fox again in this one, and number 4, Burning Time. Now, quite frankly, a few I don't even want to say red flags, but a few issues in terms of dropping and finding a considerably lesser level or lesser competition than in the last couple of starts, although he's already proven he can win at this level. Yeah, and that's the key. That's why I put him on top. He's dropping to a level. He posted back-to-back victories during November and December. They stepped him up, put him back where he belongs today. Looks like the logical choice. We both got the 6, Valid Concept in second from the Milt Wolfson barn, and I used the 1, Becky's Kitten on the inside, dropping today. I just thought that can be a logical choice. Going from the turf to the dirt for Tom Shell, 23%.
On to the fourth race, and the fourth race is a 25,000 maiden claiming event. It is 6 furlongs on the main track. We do have a scratch of number 2, Forest Warrior, and my top pick, I went with number 6. It's like we handicap together. I think today it looks, some days we never agree, and today we are. And that is number 6, Valiant Knight from the Eddie Keneally barn, dropping out of a maiden special weight company. That was a state-bred maiden special weight company. Showed speed, tired late as the favorite, Ron, back on January 7th. Looks like is going to be showing speed from a numbers perspective. I think this colt is the one to beat. Tactically, also has a good tactical advantage.
And one of Christina's favorite angles, Eddie Keneally making his second start, and that is 35% with that. So
I always say bet with both hands. If the horse ran in its debut and then comes back, you can bet with both hands.
We both have the HS for Fun dropping to this $25,000 level for trainer Gustavo Delgado. Edgar Isaiah is handling the turn back to 3/4 mile. Looks like a logical choice. If the 6 Valiant Knight doesn't get the job done, the 8 will be there. And well, I closed it out with the 5 Devils Rising, and you had the number 4 horse in there, which was Hoarder.
I like Hoarder, actually, and I think that hopefully you might be able to get a little bit of value on him. If you look at a couple of starts back, whose race did he run in? It's a knockout. It's a knockout when the Fountain of Youth. Of course, he was nowhere near, but that was a pretty salty maiden on that day, and getting back to the dirt after a turf last time. On to the 5th race on the card, we do have an allowance optional claiming event. And a 75,000.
Just not a normal one.
No, a 75,000 claiming tag. It is a mile on the main track, and we do have the return of Kozan. Kozan, 3-year-old colt by Distorted Humor. He cost $1 million at the Fasig-Tipton, the March. That's a 2-year-old in training sale, and there's good reason for that. He's a half-sibling to Royal Delta. Royal Delta, she's a multiple champion, 2-time Breeders' Cup Distaff, or Ladies Classic is what it was called at the time, winner. She's also a half-sibling to Crown Queen. Crown Queen was a Grade 1 winner on the turf, and Ron, that debut performance, very impressive, and we'll have a look.
Yeah, I got a triple-digit buyer figure, and you're going to see it right now. Kozan coming around as the number 14 horse, and mark that down. It was not an easy task, and just one for fun from that always adventurous outside post. And you can just see it cruising to the wire. This is a horse you got to write down, and you're going to see this one maybe in the Summer Classic, so things all go right. And great to see him come back today. I'm excited to see how he runs against winners.
He is one of the 2 horses that are Triple Crown nominated in that race. I also used number 6, and that's a Big Family. This is the other one that's a Triple Crown nominated, a son of Any Given Saturday. And what I like about him is we know, or I feel like Kozan, he'll be close up, he'll be showing speed. Number 2, Clover 9, probably be showing speed. Number 5, he might be showing speed. So Big Family, if let's say a scenario shapes up that we get a little bit too heavy up front, Big Family could be one of those that can pick up the pieces.
Yeah, if you look at his performance in the Hutchinson, he was parked 5 wide in there, and he closed to be 3rd, so you're right. If things get dicey on the front end and someone decides to go up and challenge Kozan, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. It'll be number 6, Big Family, can pick up the pieces. And we both used the number 2 horse, Cloverdale 9, faces winners at a mile after holding on gamely. Defeated $100,000 maidens at 6 furlongs, but it's Wesley Ward. Boy, you could never throw him out of anything. He's got Rafael Hernandez in the saddle today, and going for 2 in a row.
We'll look on to the 6th race on the card. It's a 20,000 claiming event. It is a mile and a 16th on the turf course. A few scratches in there, number 5, 8, 14 through 16. And my top pick, it looks like we're in agreement here, number 4, and that is Hardly from the Mark Hennig barn. Just she ran a pretty, I thought, a good number, solid number last time. She's beaten just over 4 lengths, but she's dropping here this time.
Yeah, it's the daughter of Hart Spun, ridden today by Javier Castellano from the Mark Hennig barn. She's dropping, as you mentioned, after angling out to finish an even 5th, but that was against $35,000 condition claimers going the distance. So number 4, Hardly, a logical choice up there. Well, one of us only got a handicap today, it looks like.
I know, we got
the exact 3 again. We never do this. Number 10, Poor Etiquette, is eligible to show more. Chased the pace last time out, 3 wide, finished 2nd at the same level and distance. Patricia Farrow, Jesus Rios in the saddle, and the number 13, Stars Collide on the outside today. A couple of scratches to the inside is going to help this horse.
We're going to take a short break, folks, and we'll come back and have a look at today's 7th race that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow Six.
Gulfstream Park is one of Florida's top entertainment destinations, mixing restaurants, clubs, a casino, and international boutique shops with world-class racing. In a lavish, sun-drenched setting with the feel of a Mediterranean village, Gulfstream is a leading year-round entertainment and tourist destination and the home of luxury residences in 2014. The Stronach family, owners of Gulfstream Park, is committed to the sport of thoroughbred racing and the grace, spirit, and generosity of the horse.
The Rainbow Six is back and it's better than ever. Now with a 20-cent base wager, it will expand the market for the popular bet. And in addition to doubling the base wager, the percentage return for the winners on the day the jackpot isn't hit increases to 70%, with 30% going to the carryover pool for the next program. Gulfstream Park, you got to be here each and every day.
Welcome back to Gulfstream Park. We're going to have a look at today's 7th race that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow Six.
$300,000 in the jackpot guarantee.
I like that.
That is something to jump at. We had a bunch of horses alive for it yesterday, but it did not. The horses that ended up winning were not one of the ones that was alive for the single thing, so the jackpot carried over today. And as I mentioned, $300,000 guarantee.
We have a pretty fun race, actually, to kick off the Rainbow Six. At least it's fun for me. You know how I feel about those maiden special weights. It's for 3-year-olds. The 3-year-old fillies at 6.5 furlongs on the main track. And there is a scratch, number 10, and that's K-Paz. And my top pick, and okay, so at least there's some variation here. We did go
not much, but some.
We did go with number 8, and that's Fast Moon. And I'll tell you why I used her. And I know that she was pretty highly regarded from the barn. She's by Malibu Moon. And Ron, I think that last race, she was favored that day. She was going pretty fast. She went way too fast early, and I think that early pace, it just cooked her. And I think she ran still a pretty credible race. She got a little bit tired and finished 4th. But I think that still that is going to set her up perfectly for
Yeah,
this
and she was dueling along the inside in that race. And the horse I did put in second, here's where we differ a little bit. I went with the 5 Coming Attraction, who's a daughter of Tappan, and I have to a $530,000 horse called Parading. I remember Parading from the Sugar McGay barn, got Lasix today, and John Velasquez added to the equation in here, and I just thought this horse, like the breeding, and see if he can run first. She can run first time out.
And Parading was a winner, a graded stakes winner on the turf.
Right.
And actually Parading needed a few starts to get going, which is why I didn't use. I went in a different direction. I used number 6, and that's Robillard. This is a daughter of Distorted Humor. I love the Distorted Humor's first time out. Very precocious. He's about 17% with his first time starters. The mare Magnificence. She's a graded stakes winner on the dirt, and so many things and it's also Kieran McLaughlin. He can have them ready to run first time out.
I got a little bit of a long shot in the 3rd spot I wanted to mention, and that's a Hot House Rose, the number 4. It's a daughter of Leighton Heat. Leighton Heat was one fast horse, and this one has been working up a storm in the morning time. The sophomore starts a campaign. She's got Lasix. She's got Gabriel Sayers named to ride, and this horse works like it's running in the morning. Might be a little bit of an upset in here.
You know, I like that one because I actually wrote Exotics, and I didn't didn't make the short list of the top 3, but I had Exotics in there. So I think your man here, our champion, is correct. On to the 8th race on today's card. It is another maiden special weight. It is 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf course. And Ron kicks off the pick 5. My top selection, we used a couple of the same horses here. I went with number 10. It's Only Acting Dad. I'm realizing Todd Pletcher better have a good day today because I seem to be on that bandwagon, largely because of that debut. Now, not only did this filly, she was 9-1. She finishes, she just gets beat by a head. Very good race, very productive first race for her. But look who beat her, Ayati. Ayati from the Chad Brown barn. Very nice filly, stakes caliber filly. In fact, Chad had earmarked a couple of stakes for her, so she's a really classy filly.
I went with the number 10 in here, number 12, Giant Crystal. This is a half to $800,000 earner, gemologist. Will be out with blinkers today after giving away grudgingly. It was a good race, finished 3rd, beaten only 3/4 of a length at the same 9 furlong distance. Trainer Graham Motion, he's good with first-time blinkers. He's over 20%, and I just thought we liked this horse the last time. I remember talking about it, and he came back, did not run bad, so I put him on top. Todd Pletcher in second with It's Only Acting Dad in number 6, Bishop's Pond in 3rd from the Chad Brown barn.
I think one horse you're going to want to watch at a price is my second place horse in here, and that's number 3, C'est Bon. This is a daughter of Kitten's Joy. Kitten's Joy's, she's only run up to about a mile or up to a mile in her career, but although with the pedigree you would feel that it would fit in terms of adding a little more ground. She ran a pretty good race last time. She was 3rd. She was only beaten a couple of lengths. She came out of that same race that we were talking about, Ayati and It's Only Acting Dad. So I almost felt like if you use It's Only Acting Dad, you almost have to use this filly. You're going to get a much better price on C'est Bon.
Well, I'm looking into my crystal ball for this pick 5 here, and it looks like we're going to have to go a little deep in this because we made good cases for all the horses we just mentioned.
Yeah, on to the 9th race on the card. We do have one other than allowance event. It is a 1.16 miles on the turf course. A couple scratches of the also eligibles 11 and 12, and this kicks off the late pick 4. And Ron, late pick 4, I went with number 1, Sky Painter, and I think not only is she a very well-bred mare, she's by Street Cry, the mare Skylighter. She was a graded stakes winner herself. I look at just back to some of her earlier form in 2014. She's running closely behind a couple of fillies named Invading Humor, Distorted Beauty. These are stakes caliber fillies. So I thought based on that, she's had a few stops and starts, a few breaks in her program. However, Kieran McLaughlin, I like when he brings these horses back. She's second off the layoff.
Yeah, and she was a little wide last time out. She was 5 wide on the second turn in there, so maybe she can run. But I got to run a ticket, but I did not put her on top. I went with the number 6, Market Magic, which is going to wear blinkers today after coming up only a head short of winning, finishing second at this level in distance. Bill Mott, Jose Lescano would top this order of Aftermarket. I just liked that race last time out. Love the connections, like the way Jose Lescano rides on the turf. So I put that one on top. You got it on your ticket there too. And the other one I used was Hold the Goal, the daughter of Street Cry.
I also used number 3, Silvery Starlet, and she looks like she's going to be showing speed in there, and I think maybe she might be able to hold on and get a piece of it. We move on to the 10th race on the card. It is an allowance optional claiming event. As a claiming price, $62,500, 1.16 miles on the dirt. A lot of excitement around this one, folks, and that's a lot to do, or has largely to do with number 2, and that is Top Billing from the Shug McGahee barn. And we haven't seen Top Billing since last February. And
in the Fountain of Youth.
In the Fountain of Youth. And Ron, let's take a look at that race. He was a good third that day behind Wildcat Red, General A-Rod. And that day, that was a pretty nice performance because the track was pretty speed favoring.
Right.
The 2 horses that were up front early, that's where they were. He actually closed a lot of ground, Top Billing. That was a great race.
That was a great race, and after this race, before he was put on the sidelines, everybody, this horse moved way up because he was against the bias, and he was on everybody's short list to be a major factor in the Florida Derby and on to the Spring Classics, but that did not happen. He's been on the sidelines, and we're lucky to have him come back today for, as you mentioned, Shug McGahee.
And he is by Curlin. You would think that he's going to get better as he goes along. We spoke to Shug McGahee just yesterday, and he's pretty excited to have him come back too. So a lot of fun with number 2, Top Billing, in the 10th race. We move on to the 11th race on the card. It is another allowance optional claiming event, 1 mile on the turf course. A couple of scratches, number 2, number 9. I went with number 6, and that is A Lot from the Bill Mott barn. And for Lasix, getting Lasix for the first time for this 3-year-old, pretty productive return. Coming back first start of the season, was second, just beaten the half a length, and pretty at the 6-1 that day.
And that was the Dania Beach. It was a graded race, a grade 3. This is my best bet of the afternoon.
Wow.
Singled it on my Rainbow 6. That's how confident I am in number 6. A lot. I like it a lot. And I used the 4 Moon River in second at Irish Straight. We have only 1 horse different there, but I loved the number 6 a lot today. A lot.
Yeah, I had to use number 10, and that's Valente from the Marcassi barn. Actually ran a pretty good race here on January 24th, ran a good number, and I think if he works out the trip, and that's the key, if he works out the trip, I think he's going to be in the mix late. We move on to the 12th and final race on the afternoon, and there is, as always, super high 5 wagering in the final race on the card. 20,000 claiming event. It is 1.16 miles on the turf course. My top choice, number 3, Kitten in May. And it almost seems with Mike Maker, I would love to see what he is in that final race of the afternoon, those turf races. Yeah. He must have the craziest percentage because he's already, Mike Maker, Joel Rosario getting aboard, and a couple of useful races coming into this. And I just think that there are several horses you can use in here, and I decided to go with a.
Yeah, we have the same 3 horses just flip-flopped around. I got the 4 Whisper on the win, Game of Defeat, vying for the lead, finished second at this level and distance. Trainer of the Barn of the Month this week is Dave Katzen, and he's the trainer, and he's got our leading rider, Javier Castellano, in the saddle. So we got a nice collections there, Kitten in May, for all the reasons you mentioned, and we close out with the number 8 Hurricane Elvis Thank you very much.
Yeah, Hurricane Elvis, who actually comes into this off of a win and looking for a second consecutive victory for the Mark Casse barn. So a couple of those barns, actually, that's a pretty competitive race. And
right.
I think that you almost have to use several horses, and we're always going to be looking for the paddock horses, right, Ron?
Yeah.
For that last race, because that's a lot of fun. That's it for today's races. Ron and I will be back the rest of the afternoon, but we do have the Rainbow Six.
We have $300,000 jackpot guaranteed. Starts in race number 7 with a 12-race card, and we got the guarantees also in the pick 5, $50,000, the late pick 4, $100,000. We mentioned all the great racing we have today. The weather is fantastic. The track is fast. The turf is firm.
Well, we're going to send you off with a look back at yesterday's Canadian turf, and that was won by Long on Value, and also the very one, Irish Mission, the classy mare that will now be visiting Tappet in 2015, and what a beautiful finale it was for her. And stick around, folks, we got a great card on tap.
Arapika closes on the outside. They're into the stretch. Jack Milton on the outside of Long on Value. Long on Value with something left has the lead. It is Long on Value. Jack Milton still trying to get him. Arapika closing on the outside. Long on Value has the lead as they come down to the line. And Long on Value will win. Riposte is set down for another furlong and a half. Irish Mission comes to confront her on the outside. Tabreed is set down, and now they go into a sprint for the final 16th of a mile. Irish Mission in front. To the outside, Tabreed. To the inside, Riposte. Late Speed Kitten's Point on the far outside with Caroline Thomas, but it is Irish Mission to win it.